The 104th running of the Indianapolis 500 now in the history books. Takuma Sato, our winner of the Indy 500 in an unusual event that probably no one expected to experience with no fans. Let's welcome in an old friend of ours, Denny Miller from Redondo Beach, California, who he and I are celebrating our 50th year of friendship, dating back to our days at Ball State University. How are you, my friend?
Well, I guess it was a pretty good day for Ball State yesterday with Letterman earning his second baby board with Sato's win. So it's good talking to you, Steve, and I love this tradition.
I know that
we weren't able to be together at the track.
I know that the experience and the feelings that you may have not being able to be here in Indianapolis to continue your streak of races, but you know, when we're being told that we can't come, then I still consider the streak alive.
Well, I guess I beat DiMaggio because mine went at 57. So, but it's frustrating. I don't care what Doug Bulls and his proclamation. I missed it.
Yes.
Tried to use all my media contacts. I even was going to literally put in some money to be a corporate sponsor, thinking that would even get in, and I didn't get anywhere with that. So it was highly frustrating, beyond frustrating. It'd be as almost if December 24th or December 25th suddenly became December 27th. You missed it, and you can never take it back. It's kind of like the 99 and 1. You got all those ones you were, but the one that's missing, you can never replace it. So it was frustrating to me.
Well, certainly in these uncertain times, Denny, I thought that Roger Penske and his crew did as much possible to make the race happen with fans, but the times dictate differently, didn't it?
Well, in some people's opinion it did, and yes, Penske really bit the bullet on this. I felt sorry for the guy. I don't think anyone else could remotely pull this off like Roger Penske, and he really saved a bunch of IndyCar teams, because had they not ran the 500 this year, what sponsorships these race teams have probably would have evaporated and wouldn't have returned. So by running the race, you know, it helped salvage it some, and costing him a lot more money. Plus, you got to remember what they say, put in $15 million worth of track improvements already. So,
yep. What were your impressions by watching on television to see the number of loyal fans still gather themselves outside the gates?
Yeah, that was impressive, and it's hard to describe. It's just Indy. You know, it wouldn't be that way at Fontana or Long Beach or I don't know, in NASCAR cases that they have that kind of loyalty to be at Daytona if it was shut down, but certainly at Indianapolis. But I think it was less troubling to me than had they ran the race with no fans on Memorial Day Sunday.
Yes.
Then it would have really been a gut punch. I think you had 3 months to kind of digest it or something. But you know, I applaud all those people. I know that feeling. And in my Eddie Sachs book, I tell the story about how Sachs would always cry during playing back home and getting Indiana, and I'm that way. It brings a lot of tears to my ears and a huge lump to my throat. I can't even talk for a few seconds afterwards. So I know the passion of a lot of fans, and it's fantastic for the city of Indianapolis, and it is obviously the racing capital of the world, no matter what other people try to say it is.
Yeah, and the moment that always gets me, Denny, is when they have the rendition of Taps played, especially during the Memorial Day weekend, and having served in the military myself and seeing that the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds were there, that was very special to me.
It was, and I truly miss Jim Phillippe and how he would do his little saying prior to the playing of taps.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we can recapture that or re-get that and play that next year for the radio listeners, because he was so good in his kind of warbly voice, that the remembering people. But yeah, and I can truly remember at when they used to play taps, it was silence for 45 seconds to a minute. Now, when they play it, people clap and everything. It's just the changing people there. But yes, taps is part of what makes the lead up to the Indy 500, the Indy 500.
Denny, the presentation by NBC television of the race, I thought it was pretty good, and they were able to show most of the things that people want to see. But both you and I go back to our days at Ball State when we began our careers in radio, and I found myself kind of going back and forth and listening to the IndyCar radio network, because they can paint pictures that the television cannot.
I really had a huge question mark when Mike Tirico was selected as host, but I applaud how he's embraced the traditions and helped make it in. He's got it.
Yeah.
And I think Danica does a good job. It's too bad Dale Jr. wasn't there. I was amazed how last year how Earnhardt was just blown away with about the 500.
Yeah, and they talked to him. You saw that.
Yeah, and it you got to be there to see it.
Yeah.
And hopefully there are people listening to this who's never been there that just needs to see it. But be forewarned, because it gets addicting, and you'll want to do it the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and it's. But yeah, I can remember listening to Sid Collins as a kid, and I always kind of loved, and he got kind of shortchanged, but when Lou Ballmer got to do it for a couple of years,
right?
And Paul Page was excellent in his own right. So yeah, everyone has to remember the radio network came well before the television, so that was people across the whole United States and throughout a lot of portions of the world would listen to the race on radio.
Yeah, and the veterans who come here year after year, you can see them with the earplugs in and listening to the running of the race on the radio. So let's talk a little bit about Takuma Sato. He certainly has proven himself to be a veteran driver. His personality is kind of attractive, and he has that magnetism about him, and just his overall excitement about being an IndyCar driver. He's changed over the years. He used to be a little bit reckless, if I'm not mistaken, but again, the way that he finished the race, he proved himself to be a champion.
Yes, and I know in talking to some people, it wasn't real. Everyone was foregone conclusion that Dixon would win.
Yes.
But they look out for Sato too, and they proved right. They used to call Johnny Rutherford Johnny Wreckford, and he got good at Indy when he got with McLaren, and Sato has gotten better in that he crashes less. I guess he got, not really, because look at what happened at Pocono.
Right.
And he was lucky to survive that one. But I think, as we kind of talked earlier, where would you rank him as far as multiple winners? And I think he's kind of down toward the bottom of that. He's certainly not in the Vukovich or Roger Ward or Gordon Johncock or Dan Weldon thing, but he could win a third.
He certainly, yeah.
And he really kind of did, because in 2012, when he went way too hard in into turn one to try to get around Dario Franchitti. If he would have been more patient and done that in turn three where the wind was favorable, he could very well have been a three-time winner.
And I think, I think, Denny, that both of us share the same opinion in terms of what Scott Dixon is, in terms of his ability as a driver. He's just a phenomenal guy, and his qualities stand out. He's so humble about his profession, and he could be the guy, couldn't he?
Yeah, I've always said they ask who's going to be the next four-time winner, and I still say it'll be Scott Dixon very easily. He could string with Ganassi, could string together 3 consecutive wins. He's that good. I heard Danica say that, I think it was yesterday, that they were kind of comparing to Jimmy Johnson. His personality doesn't have that Tony Stewart or Castro Neves or bigger than life type of thing, and or like Foyt was or Vukovic was or something that. But he's certainly good, and he obviously will win his 6th title this year. He's so far out in front.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I think, was his strongest year, even more than 2008, where he dominated that.
Yeah. Denny, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back and continue our conversation.